Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Don't Blame Me. Today, our guest is Ashly Perez, and we talk about a caller who is finally dating her best friend after 4 years, and then her family doesn't really want to let them have the same benefits of friendship that they now have as dating. No sleepovers. Is that allowed? Because they're dating now. They weren't dating before. And we also talk about a really shitty fucking douchey guy. As you can tell, I'm really upset about it. Who told this girl to kill herself, his girlfriend, and now they've broken up. And should she try and get closure and maybe get back together with him? Plot twist, she fucking shouldn't. Boys are dumb. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Don't Blame Me. Today's fantastic, amazing guest is Ashly Perez. Hello.
Hi, how's it going?
So good. I love we pretend like we sit down here like we haven't been talking this whole time we've been setting up cameras.
We talked about Harry Potter for a while.
We did. I told her I was going to copy her outfit, which if you want to see it, we're recording this for YouTube. So go check out her outfit. It's really fucking cute. Are these Madewell jeans?
They are. Everything's.
I love those.
Well, actually, this is urban.
That's really cute.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck, I'm like really jealous of your outfit. Oh, I was going to change.
Yeah. You want to change now?
Do you want to?
I don't care. Does anyone else care?
No.
Okay. I'm wearing the same outfit from last fucking episode. Okay, yeah. You know,
they know
fuck
how.
it.
You know
Stick
what?
it to the man.
She's a busy woman. She has to.
Yeah.
This is called what's it called? Block shooting.
It is block shooting, guys. Don't
need to
give me
learn
shit
about production.
Maybe I'll just take a different. I'll put something else out for the picture and the thumbnail. So I just trick people.
Yeah.
This is going to be really hard for me not to do the whole
it's
entire
okay.
time.
You can do it. Touch it. Melissa's also here.
What's up?
Hi, Melissa.
How would we get anything done without her? We wouldn't. What are your titles today? Okay, editor, producer, director. Okay, those ones aside. The fun ones. Badass. We did
Superwoman.
Superwoman.
Yeah.
Oh, I like
That's
it.
why the S is over there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mark your territory. So this is an advice podcast. You guys are tuning in for the first time. And what happens is people call in, they tell us the shit that's happening in their life, and then we listen. Sometimes we laugh. If your lives are, not that your lives are funny, but sometimes like the shit that happens in your lives is pretty fucking funny. And then we do our best to give some good advice. Maybe not the best advice. Probably the advice that you're more likely to take from, at least for me, I'm like a subpar person of society. Yeah. And like person of society. Like I'm not always going to do the best thing or the right, like, but I'm not going to do the wrong thing.
I did not expect person of society to be the thing that you said.
I might not always do.
You're not evil is what you're saying.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
No, I'm not terrible. I'm not evil. I might not always do like the best or the most right thing in the world. But I'm not going to do the worst thing. Like I'm going to fall somewhere in the middle.
Oprah says intentions are the most important part. So there you go. You have good intentions.
I do. I always have good intentions. Sometimes it's execution's just like, that's great.
I feel the same. I'm not necessarily the best advice giver, but 90% of my advice is from Oprah, who is the advice giver of the world. So
therefore,
we're good.
Yeah, you are the voice for that.
Oprah.
If you want to get some sage words of wisdom and some advice, you can leave us a voicemail at 310-694-0976. And for our international listeners, email an audio file to meghanpodcast@gmail.com. And we will collect them, sift them out, and we're going to give you some hopefully some good advice. I feel like you'll be good at this. You're like wise and shit.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I'm sitting like Buddha, so I'm ready.
I was like, you're sitting like primed and ready to like deliver some fucking like.
And here it is.
Knowledge bombs.
I came from Tibet this morning, so I'm ready.
Lucky.
I'm 18 and I just lost my virginity a few days ago, actually. And I'm not on birth control, but I've been wanting to go on birth control because I'm starting college in the fall, and I know that like I'm going to be sexually active, and especially now after having sex, like I want to have it again. But basically my parents are really conservative, so I don't really know how to go about talking to them about it. Like I know if I brought it up, like they would kind of just shoot it down and say no and say that I don't need to go on it and I shouldn't go on it because I shouldn't be having sex, and like it would just be a really awkward conversation. So I'm wondering if there's any way that like I can get on it without my parents knowing. I'm not really sure how to go about that. And if there's not, then what would your advice be for talking to my parents about it and, I don't know, having a mature conversation with them and figuring it out?
Oh, I love this question. I immediately have so many. Yeah, this is why Planned Parenthood is so important. You can go to Planned Parenthood. Also, condoms work in the meantime. Don't have unsafe sex. Also, birth control protects you. Condoms protect you from stuff that birth control doesn't, STDs. So if you can't immediately go, you can for sure go to a drugstore or have your friend buy you condoms or buy them on Amazon or something. I probably don't want it shipped to your house. You can get it shipped to school or to your friend's house or something. There's
your friend with cool parents who don't care.
I think it's cool. Hey, good for you for being sexually active and for wanting to protect yourself and be thinking about that. I also grew up with super conservative parents, and I think the most important thing is make sure that you're safe. So if you want to have a conversation later, look, you're going to college, they're gonna look at you in a different way and respect you in a different way. So I don't think you necessarily need to have that conversation before you go to college if you don't feel safe. When you come back, you can have that conversation as an adult when your parents view you as an adult.
Yeah. Or you can have the conversation when you have a child and then they're like, okay, she clearly has sex. I think there's also like, as much as, I don't know, like I think as I had friends who had like very like, I would call them like chill kind of parents, but that also comes from like your parents don't necessarily, like if you're doing something that you think that they wouldn't like you to do, they'd rather that just not know. Like if you're going to do it anyway, I don't think that they need to know. Also, like your sexual experiences have nothing to do with your parents. So like they're just not tied and related. Planned Parenthood, that's exactly like, that's why it's around. I remember when Arden Rose, which I've already ratted her out for this before. When she first moved to LA, she was like, I need to get birth control. How do I do this? And that was like one of the first things we did. Like when we moved to LA was like Arden got birth control at Planned Parenthood. And I think like exactly like you're saying with condoms too, I think that's also a habit you should get in now, because even you're saying that you're going to go to college and you're going to be sexually active. That's the prime, especially if you go to like UC Santa Barbara, prime fucking time to get an STD is like sex with multiple partners, and making sure that you are not only protected against, like getting pregnant, but
getting an STD. Yeah. And listen, most of us end up with HPV, and it's something that men give to women, and it does nothing to them. It's not fair. And you may think it's the guy's responsibility to have a condom. No, do not have sex with someone without a condom. And there's going to be lots of guys who tell you that, until you are in a committed relationship and you've both been tested, don't ruin your life over some guy feeling like, oh, I forgot a condom. Also watch Knocked Up. You don't want to get pregnant.
No, you don't. You really don't. It's not. No sex is that good that it's like worth like potential,
especially with an 18-year-old boy in college.
Like no drunk hookup at like, I don't know, like AE Pie for Jumanji, which was my thriving party. Like that's like, it's never going to be worth the ultimate consequences. Also because that's just, it falls on you. Like when it comes to like anything.
Your sexual health is your responsibility. So make sure you get in charge of it. But good for you for thinking about these things.
Yeah. And you can also at school, you can also go to your health center at school. And your parents would never
even know that.
Yeah, your parents would never have to know. Even a lot of pharmacies now too, also you can get birth control by going there.
A lot of people don't have it. We should point out that the reason Planned Parenthood is important is, it gives people access, and a lot of places don't have access because different governments are different governors are trying to get rid of that access for women. So if you don't have a Planned Parenthood around, it's good to know that there's student health centers or a CVS.
Yeah.
But condoms are available everywhere. Of course, birth control for men is easy to find, but they're regulating for fucking women.
Yeah, they're like, oh, we want to get off, but like we don't want to have to like deal with your vagina only when like we want to have sex with it. Like you've got the rest of the stuff taken care of, right? We're just gonna tax so much.
Can we curse on this podcast?
Oh yes.
Okay, great.
Like fucking shit. All the time. And also not to be like a shameless plug, I love Planned Parenthood, huge fan. And if you are, like financially able to and are able to donate money, I think that would be a really, really, really great thing for any listeners to do.
Yes, 100%. I'm going to do it now.
Yeah.
This reminds me that it's very important.
It's very, very, very important. Saved my ass a bunch of times. High school me loves it. Okay, on to the next call.
I'm 20 years old. And I currently go to a nursing school. Whoop, whoop. So my problem is that I don't know, but like ever since I was younger, or like not younger because I'm only 20, but like I noticed that like my friends, when they talk about sex, like they're so into it, and like I can talk about sex all day, but they like always talk about like, yeah, like I just had this dick appointment and it was so good and whatever, and I just like feel kind of left out because I haven't really felt like that before. I don't know if it's because of stress from school or like, I don't know, because ever since I was in 8th grade, I always was like more developed than everyone else. So every guy I've had a crush on has literally only liked me because they were trying to sleep with me, or they're like, oh, she has tits. Like, yes, girl, I don't want to date you. I just want to fuck you, whatever. So I guess what I'm asking is it okay for me to not be like into that right now? Like, it's weird. I can go a whole year without having sex. Like, the last time I had sex was a year, and I do masturbate like every night though. So yeah, I don't know. I don't get why I can do it to myself, but I guess I can't let other guys do it to me. I don't know if it's because, like, if I know they just want to fuck, then I'll just be immediately turned off, because I do feel like that sometimes. But I don't know. Like, I feel sexually attracted to other guys. I'll see guys like, oh, damn, he's cute, but I wouldn't want to necessarily, like, have sex with them. I don't know. I feel kind of awkward about it, even though a lot of my jokes are kind of like sexual jokes, you know?
I feel like you're just doing you. Like that. My advice for you,
She literally
you're
is doing her.
literally.
She's literally crushing. Like, this is such a mature, like, I wish that I was like this when I was young. I mean, maybe at like 20, I think I was kind of similar to this, but like, this is such a healthy mindset, I think.
It's also important to know that you don't need a relationship in order to have physical pleasure. I think it's great that you're masturbating. It doesn't make you weird. Listen, you're in nursing school. You don't need, along with that dick and getting dick down comes with a whole fucking personality who might ruin your life right now. So like,
so true.
If you don't want that and it's not something you need, I do think we should address though what she was saying about how she likes the attention and she has a little bit of fear of if you develop early, that is a big issue. And it's something where, you know, I think you have to start learning that not all guys or girls or whoever you're attracted to is the same, but it's okay. You know, you can have a system that weeds out guys who only want to sleep with you because of your boobs, and you should be able to tell pretty quickly. But that doesn't mean that you have to close. You shouldn't automatically assume that all men only want to sleep with you for that reason.
I would trust your intuition with that. Like, girls, especially, I think females have such a great sense of intuition and a great picker when it comes to people. Like, you, especially because like you're aware of the fact that this has kind of made you jaded when it comes to men. You know what to look for because like you've been in the situation where guys have only wanted this. So I would, exactly like you're saying, I wouldn't decide that like, no, I'm never going to like date. And you're not saying that you're not going to like ever date again, but I think it's valid that you have like a fear for that because it is associated with being objectified in a way that's like, I don't know. I think like, especially when you're younger, getting objectified in that way, like you see your friends boys have crushes on your friends who are girls and stuff. And like, instead of that, like you're getting sexualized at like a young age, which it doesn't satiate that same feeling. Cause like obviously it feels good to be told that like you look hot and you look great and stuff, but that it doesn't fulfill the same feeling of being like, I really like you as a person. Like, I think you're really interesting. And like, I really like love spending time with you. Like, it's just super different.
And most likely you'll meet someone, the way that you can kind of weed that out is you'll meet someone where most people meet people either at work or through friends or someone who knows your actual personality and not some random guy on the street who thinks that you have a nice body, which, you know, some people meet people that way. But if that's a concern of yours, then you can just already weed out anybody who you don't personally know.
Yeah. And I think it comes with age too, especially like young guys or whatever. Like the first time they see a girl their age with tits, that's like not their mom. Like it becomes so crazy. But once you get older, guys have seen girls. They've
seen tits.
They've seen tits before. Like that becomes less of I don't know. I think also just like, as guys get older, it becomes less of a commodity, less of like, oh, this is what I'm going for. Like, I want a girl who like looks like this and that kind of thing. Like, I think as you get older, and also like you don't have like you said, nursing school, you don't really have time. I mean, if you're masturbating, I could probably go a year without having sex too.
Yeah, 100%. Like, you get off every time, right?
Yeah, and also like
Not
you don't.
The same with sex.
You don't even like. It's like you maybe you don't have like an hour and a half to like go to dinner with somebody and like meet someone and vet them and find out if they voted for Trump and like
get birth control
all of that
and do
stuff.
all the things.
You literally have 15 minutes like right before you fall asleep at night.
Right.
Like that's
Get that deep
good
sleep.
Yeah,
get
the deep sleep.
Nice deep sleep.
That is so funny. Also, I just want to say you are normal. That is the biggest thing.
Super normal.
You're asking if you're normal. You know what? I have friends who talk about dick and who talk about things and just sex in general. I'm gay, but my friends talk about sex in a way that I don't really talk about sex, but that's just who I am. It doesn't mean that you're a prude. It doesn't mean that you're different or wrong or that you should be like them. They're how they are. You're how you are. So, or how you are. So just make sure that, you know, I would say the one thing to work on is just make sure that you're not consciously closing yourself off to everyone. But other than that, just do you.
Like you're allowed to prioritize work and you're allowed to put like dating on the back burner. But I think it's also about like if you have the time and like you would be open to it if there is the right guy. It's like you're saying, like don't go into everything like guards up, closed off. But I also think it's okay to, you obviously like you have reason to feel kind of like wary of people, and I think that's allowed. You don't have to shut off that kind of like, oh, let me give everybody like the benefit of the doubt. Like no, there's lots of terrible fucking people out there.
The other thing I was going to say is if I'm a person who actually doesn't always have the best judgment on people, and I get taken advantage of because I assume everyone has the best intentions. So if you're worried because you've been jaded about like, I can't really tell if guys like me, for me, ask your friend. Your friend will know if he's trying to sleep with you or not. So find a trusted friend. If you're worried that your radar is too far off, ask your friend to be like, do you think this guy actually likes me? And they'll tell you.
Yeah, DM me the screenshots of your text. I'll tell you. I constantly would tell my friends and they like don't want to hear it. I'm like, this guy just wants to fuck you. They're like, no, I think he's great. I'm like, okay, we can think he's great, but like I think he just wants to fuck. Yeah, I'll be like brutally, truthfully honest. But yeah, I think also it's a kind of a different situation, but every time when it comes to relationships, I always think it always works. It never works until it does. And especially like dating and guys, like whether that's, you've definitely got it in, it's sucky when it's like all the same kind of similar situation that keeps happening over and over again. But like there's not that I'm gonna say like there's a person out there for everybody, because I think like you can adapt in who you are to like other people who like come about and stuff. But this was a small fraction of your life. You are only 20. You have so much more of your life to go. So like associating dating with that and like boys and stuff with that, just think when you're 40, you'll have like, oh, you can associate your 20s between 20 and 40 with some totally different outcome. Like that, what happened to like how that reaction was when you were younger is not just, it was a part of your past, but it's also like such, just to me sounds so much like, yes, young boys and like young girls and being in that situation.
In general, my advice for straight people too is for young women is to date people who are slightly older than you, because men your age, almost, it doesn't matter if you're a 22-year-old woman, you should date a guy who's 25, or if you're 29, you should probably date a guy in his 30s, because men aren't at the same developmental age as women until they're truly in their mid 40s. And so if you're looking around and you're going out with people who are your age, those guys are probably just looking at your tits right now because they're not like you being like, what's my career? I'm going to be a nurse one day.
They're literally like titties, 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 titties.
Yeah.
I literally would never motorboat that shit. I literally would never date somebody who's 24.
Yeah.
Like I have my friend's dating profile. Like we created a dating profile for her and put it on my phone because she doesn't want to deal with it. She's like jaded by dating apps. So I want to do it because I have a boyfriend and it's fun for me. So I get to be her. I'm not being her. I'm saying like this account is run by Meghan. And I literally like talk to guys being like, so why should you date my friend? Like, how cool are you? Fun. I literally, she's 24 and I do not swipe right on literally anybody who is not at least like 27.
Yeah.
Like automatically, even though it's not just me, like as if I'm like, you could be cute, but I can see in your eyes, like
the 24-year-old in you.
Yes, I can see the stupid shit that you do. So yeah, I think you'll be fine. So fine. Okay, we're going on to the next call. I said that like it was a question. We are. It's happening.
Next call.
So I am 19 years old, and I have kind of a unique situation. So I've always been kind of confused about my sexuality. I am now out. I don't really know what I'm out as, but I have a girlfriend currently. I am female. So whatever. I don't really put a label on it yet. But freshman year of high school, I met this girl, and she became my best friend instantly. And then shortly after that, she told me she had feelings for me. It was very complicated for 4 years with us trying to hide how we really felt from everyone else and our families, because, we weren't ready to tell people, and it just takes time. And we are now dating. So 4 years of being complicated friends with like whatever else was going on, trying to suppress our feelings, all that stuff, we're now dating. And so obviously since we've been best friends for 4 years, we were very, very close, and we would hang out almost every weekend, and I would sleep over her house and she would sleep over mine. We've had like hundreds of sleepovers together. But now that we are officially dating, my mom is totally cool with us having sleepovers because we're 19 years old, and her parents are not. And I just don't know what to do about that because it really bothers me just because I was so used to it before. But obviously I don't want to overstep my bounds and, force things that her parents aren't okay with. So I was just wondering what you would do in this situation, because it is so weird having to drive home like 25 minutes from her house all the time when we hang out, and I'm usually at her house, and I don't love driving home, but I'm not allowed to stay over.
I love this love story though.
I know.
best
This is
friends.
my fucking life. So get ready for a lot of personal advice.
Fucking take it
that's
away.
awesome.
No, this is literally what happened with me and my current girlfriend. We were best friends for a long time. She didn't date guys before, or she didn't date girls before. And so I just thought we were friends. And like over the year, it was probably like a year and a half that we were like best friends. And we would sleep over. We would, just do normal best friend things, go to dinner, hang out. And I didn't really think anything of it besides the fact that I like kind of had a crush on her. But I was like, this is just my straight friend. And then I think you kind of realize that something changes, and then we started dating. But I think it's important and it's good for the relationship for things to reset, because you are so different with your best friend than you are in a relationship. And you also want to give your relationship all the fun of being in a new relationship.
Yeah.
So I understand why this is a confusing period of time. It sounds like her parents also might be a little bit homophobic or getting used to whatever this is. And so I think it's important to respect their rules too, even if it makes you uncomfortable. It's great that you have a safe space with your parents. So talk to your girlfriend about that and say like, hey, I don't like driving so late at night. So if you want to stay over, or if we're going to hang out at night, can we hang out at my place? But I actually think that good for you. And I'm so happy for you. But it is important to like have that reset moment, because even, it's weird when people get married, even if they were together for 10 years beforehand, you celebrate the anniversary of when you got married, because it signifies like a different change and a different commitment. And this is the exact same thing. You might have been best friends for 4 years, but you've only been dating a couple months. And so when you're dating a couple months, it's so different than when you've been dating someone for, I don't know how long you've been dating your boyfriend.
I was going to say, so obviously a very different situation, but he and I were friends for about he was like my best guy friend in LA. Like one of my best friends in LA. I won't tell him that. He'll be like, I was your best friend. But like one of my best friends in LA for about a year before we started dating. Yeah, I think a little over a year. And then we started dating. And when we were friends, we had like a flirt. So we were like work friends. So it was kind of like the joking, like work husband, work wife kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it was like definitely like flirtatious, but not in like an overt way. But we also like constantly used to say like, love you, you're the best. And when we started dating, we had to stop, and we used to send like heart emojis and like over the top kind of being sarcastic, but we both had crushes on each other. So it was like, okay, but we weren't dating. So it was fine. But so then suddenly we had to like stop saying like, I love you, stop. Like I had to like then think about like, oh, I'm not going to like text him back like right immediately. I'm not going to like send 15,000 heart emojis and be like, do you love me? Like, do you think I like just annoying shit that I would do when we were just friends. And it was super, super weird. And it made me feel like, it's like in hindsight, I'm so glad that we both, like we didn't even communicate it. We both just kind of like suddenly stopped saying
me and my
you.
girlfriend would say love you too, because you're friends all the
like,
time.
I do love you, but like now I like, I don't love you in that way. But
I can't say I love you
because it means something totally different. But now looking back on it, I'm really glad. But like then at first it was like super weird and awkward. And I did feel like a little, like it not that you feel necessarily insecure, but it's kind of just like you feel like you're backtracking in a way, but you're not, because like you're starting something so completely different that also like I think that's like the intimidating thing about dating friends too, is it feels like shit, we already know each other so well. This is like 3 years in the making that's like now sped up and we've only been dating this amount of time. Like you're saying, it's a good separation to kind of build the excitement.
And it's important to separate it now, because I don't know how long you guys have been dating, but after you date later, there are things you tell your friends that you would not tell someone that you are newly dating, which will get you into trouble later. And so it is important to set that delineation now. If this was before we're dating, this is how we acted towards each other, and this is after. Because later when your partner's like, well, what about the thing you told me? I was like, that's when you were my best friend.
Oh, I literally did that. I literally told my boyfriend about this like guy that I had like had a will they, won't they, like, oh my God, are we going to hook up kind of thing. And then when we like first started dating, and the first month of us hooking up, I was like, yeah, I'm going to go hang out with this guy. And he's like, didn't you guys like used to hook up? I'm like, fuck, you shouldn't know that.
It's very, well, and you would not tell someone who you met normally, but this is a good thing. Also, anyone who is listening, who has a friend who is a best friend, who you feel feelings towards, careful what you say to them, truly.
Because they're not going to forget too.
They won't. And when you're someone's best friend, you tell them all the juicy details and all the back and forth of it. But the separation is good. It's going to feel weird. And so it's okay for it to feel weird. But I also think you know, in general, in relationships, you cannot change people's family. You cannot change how people feel or view themselves. And so you have to respect, if that's an actual boundary, then you have to respect that, because you know what, to be honest, her parents are paying for that house and your parents are paying for your house. So you don't get to set the rules.
Yeah. And it might not be like a homophobic thing. They might just not want.
Yeah. Maybe even she had a boyfriend. She was like, no boys are allowed to sleep over.
My parents, when I was in my 20s, my parents wouldn't let a guy that I was seeing come stay the night with me.
Yeah. You know, that's totally, you're 100% right. It might not be homophobic. It might just be like, there are different rules now that you're dating, and they're acknowledging that too. They're maybe trying to protect her in the same way we're trying to protect you. Of like, it'll also be more fun for your relationship. Like in a new relationship anyway, you want to be around each other all the time, but take time to be apart from each other, because it's so fun to get done with a date and then not be able to go to sleep because you're like, I am obsessed with this person. If you're just with each other all the time, like nothing changed. Yeah. 4 years from now is not going to feel any different than what it felt like in the beginning.
I think I find that it's important to like give every part of every like timing or section of a relationship, like it's time, because like every part of it is fun. And I like talk to my friends about that who are like super not into like don't wanting to start dating. I was like, but no, remember the point when like you both know that you like each other and like you're waiting for them to text you back and like you're not concerned that like they don't like you, like you both know this and you're just excited. That's really fun. And the only time that should change is when you want more than that. And then when you like start dating should be fun, and this should be like exciting and great and being boyfriend and girlfriend. And then it's like, I use this advice when people, they move in together. I'm like, not that I'm saying when dating's no longer is fun, you should move in together, but like when you've had your fun with this, and you've done this is the time you've done doing this. Now you're going to move on to the next step. But when everything is like so fun at the beginning, it can be, it's enticing to skip not enjoy those time periods and be like, no, but this is so great. Let me do this, and this.
Everyone has had the thought when they're dating someone new of like, I need to marry them immediately. Like everyone skips right to it's right around 6 months of dating someone where you're obsessed with them and you don't live with them. And you're just like, I can't picture anyone else in my life. And you're like, I need to marry them. That's what has to happen.
This is the only thing that can happen.
But but that's what happens in that stage. So I 100% agree with you. Don't skip all that stuff, because that stuff will happen later.
Yeah. And it's fun. And I think also when things are going, I don't know, like so my boyfriend and I, we moved in together quite quickly, but not officially, which is like kind of like how I kept my like 1 foot out the door thing, being like, well, no, I mean like you can sleep over here every night, but like you still have to have an apartment. That he like didn't have a bed set up there, but like I knew that he had an apartment. So like I was like still able to create that kind of barrier. And then when we moved in together, it was like, there were so many times that when we were dating, like, and if we had like officially lived together or whatever, like there are times when, like I came home really late and I was like really pissed off about something or whatever. And it was still my apartment. Like it was still like, not like he could be there, but I knew at the end of the day, like, oh, it's still my apartment. Like I want to like keep it messy. Like I can do this kind of things. And those things that you don't really think of when everything's going great or whatever. Or if I'm pissed at you and I'm like, no, I want you to leave so I can hang out here with my friends. Yeah. And like he could do that. So like now that we live together, I appreciate I knew what I was getting myself in for, because like you go kind of through like the bad and the good. And then you're like, okay, now that I know both sides of this and how this like goes at any given day, I know what I'm signing up for. And this is like what I want to do.
Yes, 100%. You are 19. You don't have your own houses or apartments yet. You will one day, and it won't be as sneaky and fun, or it won't feel like an adventure or a thing. So just enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so happy for them. This sounds like such a
cute
love story.
On dating your friend.
I love it. 4 years. That's crazy.
Yeah, bruh.
Ugh, I'm impressed. Go, you guys. Okay, guys, we're going to take a quick break and we will be right back. This episode of Don't Blame Me is brought to you by us reading reviews of the podcast on iTunes, Apple Podcast app. Yes, it's that time again for me to suck my own dick. There you go. I literally had to look at Melissa and be like, come on, it's your sound effect time. It's your cue. It's your cue. Do you think that's what it would sound like if you tried to suck your own dick? It'd be like, because you're reaching so much. You'd be like, ah. You also have to scream because you have to take out a couple ribs. Like it'd be like a much more painful sound. Like,
I was watching an episode of Real Housewives Atlanta, and there was a guy, his name was, I forgot, it was something with dick in it. Addiction maybe, and
His name was Addiction?
that was his stripper name.
Oh,
and
okay.
he could suck his own dick.
Shut up. Did he get
Yeah.
herbs removed?
Nope, he just had a 12-inch dick and a flexible back.
Yoga. Namaste. Next time you see a guy doing yoga, be like, are you doing this to try and suck your own dick? Like, did you watch
There
Real
was a
Housewives?
sketch of Will Ferrell's where he was playing a yoga instructor and he could suck his own dick.
That's amazing. I mean, honestly, if I had a dick, I would totally try and suck it.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah, who fucking would? That's the first thing I would do if I had a dick for a day. Just masturbate. Just be like, what's this like? I feel like we have it better though. I feel like girls are like, girl orgasms are way better.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So while you're here, I'm gonna be reading some reviews of the podcast on Apple Podcast app, sucking my own dick, like we said. So this one is from Your Main Squeeze, and her username says Maine, like the state. So I don't know if this was, and it's also capitalized. So I feel like this was intentional, and it has a winky face too. I love that. And the title of this is "Been Waiting for This My Whole Life." Obviously. I've been a subscriber for years, and this podcast is probably the greatest idea you've ever had. Also, can you like imagine she's like 11, and so she's like, I've been waiting this for my whole life, just 11 years. I've wanted to call in so many times, but I'm impatient and tend to resolve my own issues very quickly. Oh, go you, parentheses, Meghan, and I literally have the same personality and views on life, so you've been an amazing role model for me since middle school years. I'm a senior in high school now. This podcast has helped me through rough times and showed me that there's always a way to push through those tough times. I should enunciate better, but thank you so much. That's so nice. Also, go you for resolving your own issues. I don't resolve my own issues. I give other people advice, and then I'm like, I'm going to stir the pot in my own life and not fix it. Hey. Thank you so much for the review. It means so much. And it also makes me really happy when people have been like watching me or like stayed fans for a long time, because I'm always convinced that I just piss people off and then they leave. Abandonment issues. But thank you so much. And the other one I'm going to read is from Amber Janak. Love you, Meghan. I've been watching your YouTube videos for the last 8 years. Holy shit, have I been making videos for 8 years?
Probably.
Oh my God. Whoa.
Since 2010.
I need to call the CW. We need to change this. Can you imagine? It's that easy. I've been holding off until the right time to call them. Be like, hey, you can give me a show now.
It's time.
It's time. Hey, it's time.
It's time.
For the last 8 years, and I've watched you grow, and I love what you've become, and this podcast is amazing. It's definitely such a good fit for you, and I wanted to let you know how much I enjoy listening and watching. Oh, that's so nice. Oh, can I read one more? This one's funny.
Sure.
Okay. My all-time favorite podcast. You can see why I picked it. By Rory Kate. Oh my God, Gilmore Girls. I've been a long-time listener and even a caller. Parentheses, ooh, scandalous, winky face. And the advice is amazing. It not only covers heavy topics, it's funny and light too. It's all you could want in a podcast. And the cherry on top is Meghan and her hilarious... And the cherry on top is Meghan and her hilarious guests. I flubbed that on purpose so I could say it twice. Love you, Meghan.
That dick sucking.
Got that dick sucking. Thank you so much. That makes me... I really want to know what call she was now. Because also, like, you guys have stopped saying your names, which, like, is great because we just believe them anyway. But so I'm like, who's Rory? Like, I wonder what Rory Kate's issue was. And maybe hopefully we helped because she called in before and left a review after. So, great. Thank you guys so much. Those were the reviews I'm going to read for now. You can leave a review on the Apple Podcast app, 5 stars, and bonus points if you say something funny that catches my eye, maybe some dick jokes. And yeah, thanks guys so much, and back to the episode.
Okay, we are back from the break, and we are gonna hop on into calls.
Hey Megan, I'm 22 years old, and me and my boyfriend have been dating for a while now, and marriage is in the near future, I would want to say, but there's just a really big problem that I feel like we're going to face when it gets to that time. And that is, both of our families are just so different from each other, and I just don't see how they're going to mesh well together, like at the wedding. My family has always been like a drinking family, and we don't really care, and it's just always a hot mess on my side of the family. And his family is like completely different. None of his family members drink. And I know that it sounds silly, like involving alcohol, but I just feel Like, I've always imagined my wedding, like, with an open bar or something like that. And his family and my mom is, like, very set on there being alcohol there. And I just don't want to be disrespectful to his family, but I also want what I want. And I don't know what to do. Because me and him, both of us drink, but we just hide it from, like, his side of the family. So, like, it's so serious. I've considered 2 different weddings. Like, seriously.
I know how you can make it work. I'm going to tell you.
Question 1. How long have they been dating?
Yeah.
Also, are you engaged?
They're not engaged. They're just close to marriage. So
Well,
maybe
also, you're 22, so
Yeah.
close to marriage is like...
She does have a southern accent, though.
Yeah. I mean, that's very real. Most of my friends were married by the time they were like 21, which is completely fine if that's your choice. But also... Okay, so my family doesn't drink.
Yeah.
Sounds like your family drinks, so we can figure this out right now.
Yeah.
I have a lot of my family doesn't drink, but it is your wedding 100%.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing is if you don't drink or if someone is not, people don't drink for lots of different reasons. I'm not going to judge them. Some people are alcoholics.
Yeah.
They're sober now. Just have options. If you only had a wedding where the only beverage was alcohol, then it would be offensive. If you have anything else for them to drink and equal options, you can have lots of bartenders you can actually do the same signature cocktail. One is a mocktail. Yeah. And then you have a big thing that's important. Like, I grew up super Christian. And so for fancy occasions, we always had a lot of sparkling Martinellis. That was it.
Love sparkling
And it's good. It
Martinellis.
tastes better than some shitty champagne. So just have that too. So make sure every base is covered.
Yeah.
But honestly, it is your wedding. I will say though, before you get married, you should think
Get
about
engaged?
get engaged. Truly. Also, don't think about problems that don't exist yet.
Yeah.
I feel like you need a dog. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's like really rich coming from me because I 100% like have anxiety about things that are like 10 years down the road. But like this just seems like
it is true that you don't want to get engaged either without thinking about what your lives will be together. But if alcohol is the biggest thing that you're
on your
stressed
wedding,
about,
like just on one night.
I think it is a real thing. Like, it helps when your families get along, and it means, you're going to be interacting with those people for the rest of your life, and they're going to know your children and all that. So you have to talk about like how to assert yourself if someone's parents on either side is not okay for something. But when you get married, you're starting a new relationship and a new family. And so the rules are your rules. That's it.
Yeah. I think like also the idea that you guys hide drinking from his parents. I think if his family doesn't drink and they don't keep alcohol in the house, respectful to not drink in their house and not bring alcohol into their house. But like what you do on your own time, that I don't think you need to lie about. Like,
nor should you.
Yeah.
Because
like,
it'll make them treat you like children. If you act like an adult, they'll treat you like an adult.
and also like your own, like think of like the rest of your life from now on. Like you're a mom and you want to have wine. And it's a 4th of July barbecue and your in-laws are over and your kids are driving you fucking crazy and all you want is wine and you can't have wine because you've kept up this appearance to your in-laws that you guys don't drink. There's a way to be respectful of that. And I also I don't drink. So like I go to weddings far too often for people I don't really know that well. And there's always like I am not offended by other people drinking.
No.
Like it's a personal choice. Obviously I don't know the situation with his family and why they choose not to drink. But most of the time, a common misconception about people who like choose not to drink is that most of the time it's about you. It's not really about anybody else. And also if it is about anyone else, his whole family can hang out with his whole fucking family. They don't have to hang out with your family. Weddings also, it's not like it would be great if they got along and they were like friends and great, but like it is so rare that I've ever been to a wedding where all I do is see like there's the bride and groom and all like the in-laws all hanging out together. Yeah, like there's like one side of the there's like there's 2 families and 2 family friends at weddings. Like they're gonna have to be entertaining like extended relatives and like family friends just as much as you're going to have to be doing all of that stuff. That I think on the day specifically, you won't even like, as much as it's like a stress right now, you're not even going to like think of them drinking or not drinking on your wedding day. You're gonna have so much other shit to think about that it's not even gonna cross your radar. And I think you shouldn't be ashamed of your family being a hot mess and like embarrassing, like not that I'm saying that you're embarrassed by them, but like how they're just like they're just two different sets of people. I think also give your family a little bit more credit of being like, it's your wedding. They're not going to like, maybe they will, but like, they're probably not going to like rip their shirts off and say body shots.
I hope they do.
I hope they fucking do too. And I hope I'm invited.
I know where you guys are.
And then also I would say like, give his family the benefit of the doubt too, that maybe they're not like judgmental people.
Yeah.
They just like are choosing a different lifestyle option.
Yeah. And that 100%, you don't know why people don't drink. The other thing is, I think you're totally right about respect the rules of whoever's house you're in. So I had an uncle who drank and the rest of my family didn't. When the parties were at his house, there was always alcohol if anyone wanted any.
Yeah.
When he went to someone else's house, he didn't bring a bunch of alcohol with him. But I also think that, you can have these conversations too. The wedding is your event. That's your house. And so you can do whatever the hell you want.
And if they want to be pissed at you at your wedding, just ignore them. There's so many other fucking people there.
Yeah.
Enjoy your day and do whatever's going to make you have a great day, because years down the road, you'll be pissed that like you didn't have fun because you were thinking about your in-laws. And then what if you only see your in-laws twice at the wedding? And then you're like, I made this entire fucking thing for you and I don't even see you.
Yep.
Like,
but also first get engaged, like we were talking about the stages
engaged.
of the relationship.
Get engaged first.
Enjoy the stage you're in. Do not worry about please don't start talking about how you're going to raise your kids and whatever.
Wedding planning.
You can talk about that stuff when it's time. If you're not engaged yet, then
just make a Pinterest board and
include alcohol.
Yeah, I have a Pinterest board that says wedding that I had to make private because I started getting all these DMs of being like, are you like engaged or getting engaged soon? And I was like, no, I just really think weddings are pretty. And so I just go on Pinterest and pin them.
Like every woman has a wedding board on Pinterest.
Yeah, that and like cute baby costumes. Have you dived into that?
No. Well, a lot of my friends have babies now, so I am obsessed with babies, but I'm still more in the animal phase.
Oh, no. I just mean like baby costumes for babies.
Oh, yeah.
If like Pinterest, if you look up like baby Halloween costumes, there's, oh my God, they're like
lions.
No,
dinosaurs.
like unique ones. Like this woman, she was like I don't know, like a very standard, stereotypical French person, and her baby was a croissant. Oh, like cute shit like that.
Oh, I'm
so
dead.
that satiates my like, oh, babies, or like watching like videos of babies or whatever. But like, I don't sit here and like, like plot and plan. So I do definitely have like a list on my phone of all the names I want for babies, which are being shot down by my boyfriend immediately.
It's important to have that list.
Okay, on to the next call.
I am 19 years old, and I'm coming to ask you about closure after the end of a relationship. So, and I'm kind of like baffled right now because I'm coming to you right after this situation. I'm like crying, so you're taking my big sister role that I don't have, so thanks. But, so basically me and this guy have been together for 7 months, and he took my virginity, which I know you're always like, virginity is what you make it, and it's not like, socially it's not a big deal, but to me it always has been, just because I get so emotionally connected to people. It's not even like a religious thing or anything. It's just like sex will emotionally connect me to you, which is God, a blessing and a curse. But so yeah, I'm connected in that way, and that like breaks my heart all the time. But we broke up because one night he had been like super stressed and stuff, and we had both kind of been pushing it with each other, like kind of just arguing, and it probably would have been best for us to step away from each other and each go our separate ways that night and not stay together, but we didn't. Anyway, so that night he was like drinking and smoking, so he was cross, and he got really mean and mad at me, and he told me some really mean things like, go sleep on the grass and kill yourself, or like jump off the bridge is what he actually said. So anyway, that was like super bad, but we've been broken up, and I haven't talked to him since because I was like, no, I know my worth. I'm not doing that. But today I hung out with his sister, and we were supposed to just chill around the city, and she ended up saying she needs to go to her house. So we went to their house, which is where I stayed for a little bit, and I just walked into his room, and I saw everything. I just immediately missed him, and like I saw just all our memories flash before our eyes, and his sister began to tell me all the things he said when we broke up, like, oh, don't talk about me because I don't want her to hurt, like, I want her to be okay, like, I love her, I wish I wouldn't fuck things up. And I leave next week to go on a cruise. I got a job on a Disney cruise, and I feel like the last thing I need to do before I go is tie this in. Do you think it's just going to reopen something, or is it wise to kind of set and have closure? I don't really know what to do. I still love him so much. I'd take a bullet for him, and I just don't know what to do. Please help. Please.
No, fuck this guy.
Fuck this guy.
As JoJo said, it's just too little,
too little, too late. One of my favorite songs.
And then, as she also said, get out, leave
Right now.
right
It's
now.
the end of you and me. It's too late.
This guy, I hate 19-year-old boy. He sounds like a fucking asshole.
He sounds terrible.
Listen, people who are nice people don't get drunk and say you should lay in the grass and die. So he might feel sorry now or jump off a bridge, but he is not a nice person, period. I don't care if he's telling your sister or whatever, or his sister, but
it's just
fuck that guy.
Exactly that. My boyfriend, the first time he ever got super drunk in front of him, he accidentally told me he loved me. Like that was like, and I had to be like, I feel like you don't want to say that right now. But like, I'm not a huge believer in like drunk words or sober thoughts, but there are some phrases or some things that like, no matter how inebriated I was, gun held to my head, I wouldn't say to somebody. And especially somebody that like you love and you care about. If he's able to say those things under like any circumstances, like with any assist there, like that it to me is a red flag. And I'm glad that you knew your worth in that moment and you were like, no, fuck you, I'm not going to stick around. But the longer that you are with somebody who says those things, whether it's frequent or infrequent, you start to believe that stuff. And then you start to feel indebted to this person for being such a great person, for dating somebody as terrible as you who should just jump off of a bridge. Like, as smart as of a girl as you are, like that's something, like it happens to people. Like I've been in terrible relationships with guys who treated me so badly, because at a certain point when you like ease into it, and that's always how it happens, like, and then suddenly you're like, oh no, now I feel like I'm so special because you've made me feel special, because you make me feel like you like break me down to then build me up, and you take ownership of like, oh, I did that. I'm the only one who can kind of do that for you.
This is a classic toxic relationship. Also, don't hang out with his sister. I know that you're friends and that I'm sure you were friends before and she's a nice person, and you tell her, woman to woman, this is not personal. This is just something I have to do right now. And I hope we stay friends and see each other later. But right now I can't hang out with you because her exactly that reason. Yeah. Her ties are going to be the brother, and she's going to need to go home sometimes, and she's going to bring up, he's going to call her, or she's going to get a text from her mom, and it's going to trigger you. Just don't do it. Closure is important. I think you are 100% right, but closure doesn't mean that you have to rehash everything with a shitty ass person.
No. And there's no, like, I believe in moving on as opposed to closure, because like the idea of closure there as if is in like two people are a part of this. And in reality, one person ruined this relationship and that person doesn't deserve to be a part in you getting over this. Like he was the issue. He's not going to be a part of the solution. So it is like anything that you can say, and I say this from someone who like I got my heart broken by my first boyfriend who I lost my virginity to, and I am like even then like because he was the only person I'd ever slept with, like to me that was, until I got older, like I was able to like move on. But like when I was younger, I was like, I'm never gonna be able to move on from this guy. And we had like a terrible breakup, and I stopped being friends with his friends, and I stopped hanging out with our mutual friends, and was like, I need to like fully separate this and cut this out. But that only happened after I like was like, we should like meet up and like just like talk this out and get some closure. And he said the nastiest things to me to my face, and I was like, you know, fuck the idea of closure, because I feel worse than I did like 2 days ago when I thought I'd hit rock bottom. And I even like read this is as much as this is how much I don't believe in closure because of this. His grandmother passed away, who was really, really close to. And so we broke up end of our senior year of high school, and partway through, I think pretty early on in our freshman year of college, his grandma passed away. She was really close to him. I sent him a message on Facebook, and I will admit I was quite petty. Like he did definitely, I wasn't very nice to him after we broke up, definitely did some really bitchy things, which I will not say because people will think I'm terrible. Let's just say I was on yearbook committee. So yeah.
So that's in print.
Yeah, it is. It is in print. But also, take in mind, he asked out one of my friends to prom in front of me. And then it was with a song and everyone sang Meghan, the rest of his bandmates sang Meghan, and he sang a different girl's name and nobody knew. And he like ripped his shirt off and her name was there. And like I was standing there and everyone thought he was asking me. So like it was, not that I'm saying it was deserved, but whatever.
This needs to be a movie.
Doesn't it? It should
My
be.
God.
It should be. Also, the girl he's dating now looks exactly like I looked in high school, which is unique because transition lenses.
Wow.
So like
Interesting.
very specific.
Yeah,
but
she does. She showed me a picture.
I'll show you. It's fucking insane.
Yeah.
But I reached out to him and like just sent him a message on Facebook. This was like almost a year, probably almost a year or like 6 months to a year after we had broken up. And I had seen him. No, it was definitely a year because I'd seen him over Thanksgiving and it was like fine or whatever. And I was like, hey, just wanted to send you a message. Like, You obviously don't have to respond to this, but I just want to say, like, I heard the news. Like, I'm really sorry. I know that we like don't talk anymore, but I know how important she was to you, and like, I'm sure there's nothing that you would ever need or want from me. But I just want to let you know that, like, if you ever want to talk, I'm here. And he responded almost immediately and was like, okay, I don't know why the fuck you're messaging me. And I was like, okay, great, cool. Closure is not a thing. Like this idea that and I'm not even saying that I did it to feel good about myself, but ultimately, like, I wanted there to be like, when a relationship ends and it's unhappy, you want to be able to, it's hard to separate being the good memories and the bad memories, and you want to end on a happy note because you have happy memories, but that doesn't matter. You can have happy memories and a bad ending of a relationship. Very few relationships end well, but they can still have been ultimately like overarching positive experiences. And after that, I was like, there's no fucking point, because here I am trying to be the bigger person and trying to like reach out and do all of this, when in reality, like, I'm not pining after a guy, but like, I'm romanticizing the idea of like us having like one final talk. And like, no, that just backfired in my fucking face. Like, you can't like, it does not take two people to create closure. And you need to like separate, whether like, you don't have to block him on social media, because not like delete him, because I think like that can send, I don't know, you feel dramatic.
Toxic,
yeah. And like a little like very
you can
negative.
Mute people, though.
That's what I was saying. Like, I muted my ex-boyfriend, muted his like new girlfriend. Like, I didn't want to like start shit, but and also if he cares about you as much as he's saying to his sister, he and his sister will also understand that and know and be like, I really need to do this for me. Like, I need some space. I don't need to see that. Like, there's certain ways that like, we were talking about, like when you drive past some ways, you're like, oh my God, this is so cute. Like when I'm in my hometown, I don't fucking take the way that like drives past my ex-boyfriend's house. Like there's no way to get over something if you're completely immersed in it, because you're like, oh, this reminder, this reminder, this reminder, this reminder, this reminder.
Also, the one thing you should not do is, if you're moving on, don't tell the person that you're moving on. Because some people want to get closure for themselves, and they're like, just so you know, I'm moving. I can't talk to you anymore. Like, maybe with his sister is the one person that, if she's actually a friend that you hang out with, that I would be like, hey, right now I'm trying to give myself some space. So I don't know if we can talk right now. That's the one person. Do not tell your fucking ex-boyfriend, like, actually I've made a decision not to talk to you, because then you're starting shit. Yeah. And you're starting shit.
I wonder what you're going to say. Are you going to be upset? And that's a natural thing. Like, we all want that satisfying feeling, which my friend actually got this, which has never happened to anyone. Like, this guy who like broke her heart and was like a complete asshole to her. And she was like, he's never going to realize and like appreciate how great I was. She got a message like 6 months ago. It was like, I just want to let you know, like, you were the best thing I missed out on. Like, I like didn't appreciate you and I had you. Like, I think you're amazing and great. So she's the only person that's ever fucking happened to.
And the one thing that I will say is, the only time you do get moments like that is after a lot of time.
Years.
Time is the only closure. So
when it doesn't give you that feeling of butterflies anymore.
You trying to get closure in the time of the exact feelings of your relationship will not happen, because people have to grow. And so maybe this piece of shit man in 10 years will be like, I'm sorry, I was a piece of shit when I was 19, and I'm really sorry that you were in the crossfires of that. Doesn't mean you have to give him any more of your time. So just fucking move. You're going on a Disney cruise. Go have some fun. Also use condoms as per our other.
Yes, please do.
No, don't get pregnant.
I hear there's a lot of orgies on.
There's a lot. I lived on semester at sea. So I lived on a boat for 6 months.
I had friends who did that.
They had, when you walked in, there was seasick pills and a bunch of condoms. The condoms were gone the next day after we sailed, and the seasick pills just remained there. So
holy shit. That's hella fun.
I also want to point out, like, the nice things that he was saying were to his sister, and he didn't say them to you. And he apologize for the horrible things that he'd said to you.
And did he tell his sister that? Like, does he say those things in conversation? Like, oh yeah, by the way, or is it like, oh wow, no, this is like this very dark side of him that nobody else knows?
Also, I just want to stress, he's a piece of shit. I'm sorry. There's literally no other. I don't want you to take away anything except for, this is not a guy who deserves any of your time. And I'm glad that you've already made that choice. But we would like to reiterate that he's a piece of shit. And it doesn't, I think something that was really hard for me, because I'm a people pleaser and someone who likes to have people happy around me, was also trying to get, even just with friendships, that feeling of like, okay, but I feel bad for not having having good intentions towards someone and goodwill towards them does not mean giving them your time. And if you're someone who likes to please people, it's very hard to make that distinction. Yeah. You have to learn that you not engaging with someone doesn't mean that you have ill will towards them. It just means that you like yourself.
Also, let us know what you're doing on the cruise. Like, what's your
dancing?
job?
Or are you
singing? Are you in the water? Are there water things there?
Like a mermaid? Like Ariel?
Oh, yeah.
Like a dance, like a show, like are you comedy?
Are you a character?
Are you a furry?
Are you
Mickey? So hot. Where's the cruise going? Okay, guys, now we're going on to Producer's Corner, where Melissa will pick either an update from a caller from a previous episode giving us the update on what's happened on that situation, or we have somebody who has some of their own input from a different episode for some advice that we might have given. Maybe they've got better advice.
Yeah, so this is from the episode with Alexis Waters. Speaking of cruises, this is an update on the girl who her boyfriend told her that she was almost the one, yes. and then she went on a cruise. So yeah,
isn't that? Oh my God, isn't that terrible?
Yeah.
How old are these dumb boys? Boys are so
stupid.
Boys
are super dude.
Try being gay, y'all.
Super dumb.
Yeah, she's in her 20s.
Boys are still dumb though. Like Moss is 28, and he's still a fucking idiot.
Oh yeah, no, they don't get good until they're 30.
Yeah. That's why I don't understand girls who don't have friends. Like, but how do you have conversations? Like,
oh, we got to do a whole other podcast about girls who don't have friends, girlfriends.
So scary.
Hey, Meghan, this is a callback. I'm the girl whose ex-boyfriend told her that she was almost the one. I'm happy to say that I'm doing a hell of a whole lot better. I went on my cruise. It was on a Disney cruise, although I did laugh at your guys' comments. But I went on a cruise and I had an amazing time. It could not have come at a better point in my life. I actually had lunch with my ex last week, I think, just getting closure. I mean, he said we were going to be on a break for a month, and we met up after the month. And he told me that right after he broke up with me, he downloaded Tinder, met a girl, and he went on a date with her like a week after he called the break. So all that he said about needing to date himself for a little bit and focus on himself was, I guess, bullshit. So I was really blindsided there because, I mean, I handled the break pretty well. I took time to take care of myself and figure stuff out on my end, but he was already seeking someone else out, which is kind of shitty, but I mean, hey, like, whatever, I guess, at this point. I don't know. He sounded really excited about her when we went to lunch, and I was just like, what the actual fuck is going on? But that's okay. We closed that door. He and I are not friends at the lunch. He said, maybe we could be friends and you could be like my sister. And that, I think, is just as bad as hearing that I am almost the one. So this boy just pulls out all the lines. But with that being said, I'm doing a hell of a whole lot better. I got a job promotion. I got this really cool internship, and just a lot of things in my life are going right. And I may or may not have hooked up with someone on the cruise. That's a story for another day. But I don't know. I had my fun. I'm living my single life, and I don't need my ex anymore. Like, he can do whatever the fuck he wants, but I'm done with that. The door is closed, and I'm moving on, and I'm feeling really, really good. So I just want to say thank you guys so much for taking my call and giving me amazing feedback. You guys are so funny, and yeah.
She's thriving. You can hear it in her voice.
As Beyonce says, the best revenge is your paper. She's like getting promoted. She's doing this fucking guy. This is exactly why you don't get closure, because you don't need some stupid guy telling you that he got on Tinder and he wants you to be his sister. Ew. What like you guys have had sex. Oh,
that's so weird.
Men are so dumb. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Dumb. And you know what men think they're doing when they do that too? He's probably like, wow, I'm just like, I really love you and I want to be helpful because you're so obsessed with me that your consolation prize is you can be my sister.
And I just want you to know that, like, I really respect you as a woman and not just sexually. Like, I know we dated, but like, I'm a feminist and I love you besides that. But like, I just want to be in your life because like, you're an awesome person and I think you want me in your life. And this is the capacity in which I'm going to give it to you.
Oh my God. Everyone who's listening now, please never try and get closure. I'm going to tell everyone closure doesn't exist.
It doesn't. It doesn't. There's moving on. There's no such thing as closure. All closure is going to do is fucking make you be like, honestly, maybe there's a little bit of truth to the fact of closure now, because usually if you're seeking out closure, all you're going to get is the person that you're dating being even more of an absolute
of the
idiot
same.
that
Yeah.
you'll be like, oh, okay, maybe that's it. But
Yeah.
I think save yourself the kind of heartbreak. But shit, this guy is a fucking idiot.
I could just perfectly see it. Him being like, so I actually downloaded Tinder and I'm super excited about this new girl. It's like, go fuck your fucking self.
Why would
Are you
tell
kidding
me
me?
that?
That's why? He's so smarmy. Also, he was trying. I feel like this is another thing we need to talk about. Just people afraid to be honest. When you're in a relationship, if your partner confronts you and there's actual issues, say what you need to say. Say that I need space. Say that I'm thinking about dating other people. And it's very hard. I will tell you that it's not easy to say those things. But this is what you get if you fucking lie to people.
Oh my God.
Where you have this whole false premise and the other person looks like an idiot. Yeah.
Really want to be with me, fall in love with
What did
me
he say?
again.
I want to date myself.
Yeah, he
What
said he
the
wanted
hell?
to date himself.
Yeah.
And she like respected it. It was like, that's very mature of you. That's like really great. And we were being like, not very mature of him to admit that. No, I didn't want to do that. But shit, I'm so glad you're thriving. I'm so glad you have fun on the cruise. This makes me really excited for the previous
She
caller
called it
also
a
gonna be on
hocation.
cruise. Yeah, hocation.
yeah.
Her voice sounded like her skin looked great.
Didn't it? She
It
sounded like
did.
she was
I can tell.
glowing.
Yeah, you can tell.
Yeah, she brought sheet masks on that trip. So many fucking sheet masks. Well, I'm happy you're thriving. It's great. I think this is also like, it was kind of nice to have like a little like button on the end of our rant on closure.
Yeah.
That, like this worked perfectly. And also
And cruises.
Yeah,
Yeah.
apparently if you're going to be
The
like newly
universe.
single, go on a fucking cruise.
Yeah.
And now previous caller knows it's fun.
But bring condoms.
Bring
Again, we're tying
condoms.
all the calls together.
Wrap it up.
on cruises, do you think it's the people who work on cruises that have sex, people who go on cruises? Because
think
now
it's
we have a
both.
crew work.
Everything.
Both.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, because I've been on 2 cruises and I didn't have sex either one.
I think the crew is also paying a lot. I mean, it's basically like college. It's a
But, like,
enclosed space.
But if you're just on the cruise.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast. We're done.
Wow, that was it.
Yeah, you're so great. We have to have you back.
Yes, I'd love to.
I say that, and this time I really fucking mean it, though.
Oh, I'm so excited.
No, you were so good at giving advice.
I love it.
And I'm just going to like, you're my new style icon.
Hey.
And your socks match.
Next
You
time.
really have your life together, don't you?
I actually do. I'm like a
Wait,
Google
really?
Doc person. Yeah.
I have Google Docs. I don't have my life together. I didn't know those were mutually exclusive.
Do you use your Google Docs?
Yeah, but like for what? Like what do you mean? Like what should I have in my Google
Just
Docs?
organize. I mean, I have like a document that's like my whole financial document and
Oh,
all the
well,
things
yeah,
that I
no.
do. Yeah. Well, this was a pleasure, truly. Thank you for having me.
Well, where can people find you on the internet if they want to, which they should follow you?
At ITS Ashly Perez, Ashly with no E.
And if you want to follow Melissa and I, we are both living in the description. Yep, we're just right there. If you
Oh,
expand it,
they
it'll
live
pop
there.
right out. And it's like, hello.
I was like, are you going to tell people your address? That's weird.
Yeah, it's just
We are
really,
both living at 1600 Vine.
hell yeah. Maverick, right? That's his phrase?
Yeah, I think so.
My least favorite person.
Yep.
I mean, maybe top 5. And if you guys want to be in an upcoming episode or you just shit's happening in your life and you need some help figuring it out, you guys can call in and leave a voicemail at 310-694-0976. And international listeners can email at meghanpodcast@gmail.com, just an audio file. And make sure you subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud. And if you go to don'tblameme.show, you can also listen there. And if you're listening on to those and you want to see a video, it's on YouTube too. So you guys can check it all out.
Hey.
And yeah, sick guys. I will talk to you next week. Goodbye. Don't Blame Me is a production by me, produced, directed, and edited by Melissa DeMons. Post-production sound by Chris Henry, production assistant Julie Carley, and music by Giacomo Picasso and Ryan Hunter. I'll see you guys next week, and don't blame me if your life, completely fucks up before then. Oh.